pretty simple. Are you overspending, right? Something that you don't have.
Studies show 6% of young Canadians have a shopping addiction. Their debt spirals out of control and their credit cards are maxed out. They are called shopaholics. This young shopaholic, who has adopted a pseudonym, maxed out 2 credit cards and is in $10,000 debt as a result of overspending.
5 makeup bags.
There's a lot of debate about what exactly compulsive buying is, and part of it, I think, comes from the fact that it's written about from two very different, totally unrelated perspectives. So there's a psychiatric perspective where we look at compulsive buying or compulsive shopping, often seen as part of OCD, for example. But there's also the consumer literature, where it's looked at from the perspective or from the lens of corporate values, consumerism in general, living in a society dominated by acquisition of goods, where it's very much normalized and seen as kind of a perhaps extreme end of the normal consumer spectrum.
Hi, my name's Tamara, and I consider myself a shopaholic. I'll shop anywhere. I'm really not discriminatory in choosing what places I want to shop. Anywhere that has stuff and accepts a Visa card. I shop more often than most people, I guess, would. I shop probably at least twice a week, and anytime I really need something, pretty much. If something new comes out, like the new iPhone, then I'll probably try to go and get it right away.
It is a reflection of our society, living in a society which is dominated by image as a reflection of the goods we have around us. So, of course, for many of us, if image is important, we think and we buy into the advertisement saying, if I have the right car, if I have the right kind of house, the right kind of clothes, I somehow will become that kind of person that I desire to be.
So I probably have over 28 pairs of jeans. Shirts, this is only half of them. The other half I keep at my boyfriend's house. Dresses and stuff, again, this is only a few of them. I've probably got over 25 dresses. I've got tons. I also take up half my mom's closet space across the hall. This entire dresser's full of clothes.
Tai Wong is one of 4 counselors at Sheridan Trafalgar campus. He helps students who are dealing with personal or academic issues.
It's not the spending that is the primary problem, it's why they're spending. What is it that is the motivating factor that's pushing you to continuously be in this destructive behavior?
The only way to look good all the time was to have like the nicest clothes out of anybody I knew. I had to look the best. So most of the time that meant buying jewelry, buying clothes, buying makeup, hair products. I probably got my first credit card the following year when I was 18. As soon as I turned 18, I applied for one and I got it.
Students are really having difficulty with is credit card spending. When you take out that plastic card, it's almost like it's not real spending because you're not taking out the cash, which is physical. So, when they put the plastic down, they don't think about how much the credit cards will accumulate. So at the end of the month, they're hit with, let's just say, $1,000 of accumulated purchases, and they don't have the means to pay it.
When the debt becomes unmanageable, Credit Canada offers free credit counseling services. The goal is to educate people about money management and budgeting.
That's one of the problems that we're seeing is that, again, there's many young people or people who've never been introduced to credit who, once they get a credit card, they don't understand what happens when you make a late payment. Well, how does that impact your credit rating, your credit score?
For a long time I was in denial just because I didn't make those connections. I didn't make the connection that every time my debit card or my credit card was swiped, that was money out of my pocket. Money that could be going towards better things.
First, there are the warning signs of financial difficulty, which says, first you're juggling bills, like you're paying one bill 1 month and not paying the others. That's 1. 2, you're borrowing from friends, family, or relatives just to keep up with the monthly payments. 3, you're borrowing from credit cards to pay the other credit card. And those are huge warning signs.
I probably realized I had a problem when I maxed out my second credit card. Being over $10,000 in debt when you're not even 22 years old, that's a huge slap in the face. Walking into my room and realizing, I'm cluttered with stuff, and just having things that I've never worn before and still have the tags on them, but I bought them over a year ago. And I really couldn't admit it to myself for the longest time, hence why maxing out one credit card wasn't enough. I had to do it 2 times to really realize that there's a problem here that needs to be fixed.
When you're young, you don't think too much of it, but let's say 3-4 years go by, you still haven't paid back the debt. Well, then all of a sudden, you've gotten yourself back on track, you're working full time, you're ready to make that next step in a relationship, you're probably moving in with someone, you're getting married. What happens? You want to buy a house? Well, your credit rating isn't very good, so you're no longer approved for a mortgage. If you want a really good job and they may check your credit report, you may not qualify for that job.
The hardest part, though, is keeping it from my boyfriend, because I know that at some point we are going to be moving in with each other once graduation rolls around, and maybe going and having to tell him, I can't put my name on this down payment or anything because my credit rating is in the hole and is not going to allow us to get any sort of place to live. I could see that being a huge, huge problem in our relationship, and maybe even creating some trust issues between us because we've been together almost 2 years and I haven't even told him about this.
It seems that the reasons compulsive buyers buy are the same reasons all of us have. It's probably just that they apply it to more items, spend more time at it, so that it becomes a problem in its own right. So they may be buying in part related to their image. It clearly has been related to society. There aren't a lot of good studies, but most people would say that this is a problem that's, of course, going to be more highly seen. The more consumer-oriented your society is, the more it buys into the importance of having the latest goods.
Jeannie Mitchell is an award-winning writer who has been giving financial advice to students and young people for years. She is also the founder of Debt 101, a website directed towards students in need of financial advice.
It's got probably more on student debt than any other website in Canada. Got a lot of tools like budget, making budgets, quizzes, financial quizzes, and calculators to help you calculate various scenarios for paying your debt more cheaply.
This website helps you understand, when it comes to debt, you are not alone.
Anyone who has a shopping problem, all I can say really is, don't make excuses for yourself. Don't justify what you're doing. Just get some help. Just tell people. Help yourself if you can. Confront your problem. Grow up and realize what you're doing to yourself.